So Silent Night Deadly Night Part 2 is a sequel to Silent Night Deadly Night, and it follows the story of Billy's younger brother, Ricky, who goes on a psychotic rampage after the loss of his brother, and eventually growing up to be an even bigger psychopath. So, I'm going to break down the plot of the movie, going over my thoughts on the movie as well later in the video, and it's just going to be fun talking about the sequel to this movie, because it is wild, and it's got everyone's favourite Garbage Day meme, so let's get into it. So the film begins with Ricky Caldwell, who is now an adult and he's in a mental institution. He's being interviewed by Dr. Henry Bloom, a psychiatrist attempting to understand Ricky's violent behaviour. Ricky, initially calm but increasingly unhinged, recounts the events of his childhood and the original film, and pretty much we just get a lot of flashbacks of the original film. It's very boring, I'm not going to go much on it because 40 minutes of this movie is literally just spent recapping the OG, which, you know, is a good movie in itself, but I wanted to see more of Ricky rather than just Billy again with some Ricky voiceover. But yeah, through flashbacks, he details the trauma that he endured witnessing their parents' murder. He recalls the time at the orphanage under the abusive Mother Superior, and also just more of the first movie. It's kind of dull. So, following Billy's death, Ricky was adopted by a kind couple. However, through his adopted parents, you know, they tried to give him like a normal life, you know, classic kid stuff, but the trauma of his past lingered. And as he grew older, he became increasingly violent, particularly when he witnessed some stuff which he deemed immoral, aka naughty, as they like to put it in this franchise. So, he becomes increasingly violent, and his sense of justice is warped by his upbringing. This leads him to murder a man attempting sexual assault on a woman, which, you know, similar to the first movie, is just disgusting, and I didn't want to watch, but, you know, I did not know that there was this much, like, disgustingness in these movies when I picked this franchise to review, and sadly, I've got to see it through now. But yeah, so, Ricky's killings become more frequent, and they're fueled by his unresolved anger and a growing belief that he is continuing his brother's mission and punishing the naughty. Ricky's downward spiral accelerates after he begins dating Jennifer, a young woman who seems to bring some peace to him. However, their relationship takes a dark turn when they've run into Jennifer's ex-boyfriend, who he sort of taunts Ricky, and in a fit of rage he kills him. And when Jennifer reacts with horror, Ricky strangles her to death, and he kills his girlfriend. Now completely unhinged, he begins going on a killing spree throughout a neighbourhood. He's armed with a handgun, and he nonchalantly murders random bystanders, including a man taking out his garbage, and in one of the film's most infamous and famous scenes, Ricky's over-the-top delivery of the line "Garbage Day" is just amazing. I'ma play it again now.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
There we go. And yeah, it's just funny. It's definitely one of my favourite like bits from these movies, because I haven't even watched the rest of them yet. I've got to watch 3 tonight. I'm not excited, but yeah. But yeah, so he then goes after the one person who he believes is, you know, the bad guy, the naughty one, the evil queen, if you may, I guess. He's going after Mother Superior. He blames her for the torment inflicted on his brother and himself, and now she's retired and living in seclusion because she suffered a stroke which left her wheelchair bound and disfigured. I didn't know a stroke could do that to your face, but I'm going to just go by this movie's logic. But yeah, so Ricky invades her home, he chases her through the house in a tense and violent game, and he kills Mother Superior, but he is then shot multiple times and he collapses to the ground dead. However, as the film ends, Ricky's eyes open, hinting that he survives, and of course we know he survives because in, you know, the third one he returns. He's played by Bill Moseley in that movie. I don't know why the guy who plays him in this movie didn't want to come back. He does an amazingly over-the-top job, and I love him in this movie. I would like to see him return. But yeah, Silent Night Deadly Night 2. It's a fascinating mix of horror and unintentional comedy. The film's first half really feels like a cheap recap reel rather than a sequel. It's really just 40-minute recap and 50-minute crappy short film, but it's still fun at times as well. It really reuses way too much footage from the first movie for, like, my liking though. Like, it just feels really boring. And it comes off as really repetitive as well. Like, you know, maybe a newcomer that's starting with this movie would enjoy it, but with me, I don't know. Like, you know, you'd think that a film called Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, you'd probably watch the first one before the sequel, so you'd maybe need to just make a new movie and just have newcomers say, go watch the first one, guys. It's literally called Part 2. But yeah, so the second half is definitely where it shines. It's just pure camp. The performance of Ricky is just amazing. It's absolutely absurd. It's got really, really weird facial expressions and really dumb delivery, which I absolutely love. Once again, the garbage day delivery is one of my favourite moments in like all of horror. It's just so cringy and funny. And this guy's definitely my own little slasher icon, alright? Free Ricky, guys. He did nothing wrong. But yeah, the kills in this sequel are definitely entertaining and over the top. They definitely lack the tension and more psychological depth that the original had. It's really more campy and silly, which I do prefer over like the really mean and over the top tone that the original had. I really hated like a lot of the stuff in the original. Down from the subject matter, just what happened in the movie, and just overall a lot of the movie itself I didn't really enjoy. But this one is a lot more like clicks with me, because I'm more of like, you know, I like a good comedy and I like a good horror movie. When those come together, it creates a perfect pie that I will gladly enjoy. I get it? I'm fat, so I'm going to eat a pie. But yeah, the kills in this movie, as I said, they are a lot of fun. And it's definitely a weird viewing experience, though, because even though they're silly, they're kind of over the top. But the film does have more problems, though. The budget constraints are really evident. It's got really cheap effects and really limited set pieces. But those shortcomings, they definitely add to the movie's charm for me, you know. It's still campy and it's still fun, and I can still enjoy it nonetheless. But at the same time, I would have liked a little bit more than just, you know, 50-minute short film, 40-minute recap reel. I would have loved an entire long movie with just Ricky. Like, sure, we get that in the next movie, kind of, but it's not the same actor, and as much as I love Bill Moseley, I would have loved to see this actor return. He's such a good, like, character actor in this movie. His name's Eric Freeman, I just found it in the bottom of my script, yeah. Such a good actor. Shout out Eric Freeman, he did a great job. And yeah, while it definitely lacked the dread and seriousness of the original, it's such a good, unique horror movie in its own right. And sure, it's a campy, chaotic, and occasionally pretty good example of so bad it's good. So if you're looking for a pretty good horror movie that is not really as, like, mean as the original, if you get what I mean, it's definitely a lot of fun, and I do highly recommend it. But yeah, until next time, remember to take up your garbage, or else this guy's going to come over and shoot you, I guess. But that's pretty much it for this video. I gave this movie like a 7 out of 10. It's not bad. It's pretty goofy and pretty fun, but once again, it's not the best, but it's nowhere near bad. Similar to the original. If you like a silly little Christmas horror movie with a lot of really dark themes, you will enjoy this.